Does anyone know what creativity means?
I think creativity is like a center of a gooey, like molten lava cake. You can put different things inside of it and it'll still come out perfect, maybe not to other people, but to you.
You guys should use this for anything you want to. If you want to write a grocery list, if you want to write a note to your friend and rip it out, you should really feel like you can just use this sketchbook in whatever way makes you happy. I don't want it to be an intimidating thing like, oh God, I have to fill up this whole thing with beautiful, intricate, perfect drawings of flowers. It's not really what it's for. It's here so that you can journal. It's here so that if you're sad, you can write about it. It's here so that you can draw your grandmother's weird elephant figurine that's in her senior. What? I did my minor, and as part of the minor for arts education, they have you do a practicum where you go to UCLA Community School, which is in Koreatown, and you teach an 8-week segment. So once a week you teach a different lesson, and you come up with the lessons and you learn how to write a lesson plan.
Personally, I feel like just majoring in art is probably the most daring and courageous thing you can do because there's not a lot of options, or at least options set up for you after college. So I wanted to take that step and choose something that I can actually find myself doing after college and find a field that I could go into and enjoy simultaneously, because that's very rare too, enjoying your job. So yeah, when I figured out that VAPAE was a actual choice that I can make, I took it right from the get-go.
Take a piece of tracing paper, put it on top of your amazing drawing of your actual classroom, and transform the actual classroom that you're working with right now, using this tracing paper, draw over it to come up with a plan of how you can use what you have right now to maximize your efficiency as a teacher.
I have to sit here because the projector screen is here and it's controlled by this little booth here, and it's just like, I can't go and talk to you guys because I'm here in the corner. What I want to do is try to find a way to maximize space in a way they can have dialogue while they're facing each other, but also have the attention gravitated towards the front of the room. The class that I'm taking right now with Lindsay is basically 3 parts. So the first part is just we start talking about art education and different practices and different readings and basically the theories behind it, and just different it was a lot more reading, and then the second part was preparing our own lesson plans. So we each individually create lesson plans that we were interested in based on a theme. So what I did was self-portraits, and so I was really interested in how these 6th graders can find their identity through different forms of self-portraiture, and so that's one example of a lesson plan. And someone else can do collage, someone else can do a dance lesson, a music lesson, and then this quarter is spent actually going into the classroom and spending time with the students and reflecting on our lessons and talking to Lindsay about how it went and stuff.
I went into the class with the intention that I was going to follow my unit plan and go completely straight from day 3, but I completely erased that, and on my way there on the 7:20 bus, I decided to change my entire lesson for the day of Friday. So in the bus, I was just okay, we're going to connect it, we're going to try to make it work, and I was super scared, and I was pretty positive that it was going to fail. It was going to be the worst lesson plan I've ever done, but after the fact, it was the best one I've ever done, and it was one that I hadn't planned on paper at all.
I try to bring sort of my arts into the classroom, not only in the sense that I'm a practicing artist and I want the students to sort of experience through me what it's like to be working as an artist in Los Angeles, but also I try to think of sort of my mom's influence as, her being an artist and sort of teaching me as I grew up about art. She also used to run a summer art camp in our backyard for 10 years. She thinks that might have been influential on me teaching art. I'm not so sure.
I'm directly bringing in what I've experienced and how I learned. And I grew up in a very strict household, both at home and then also in the studio. And so I really, the way I try to enforce being strict is conditioning and strength training and flexibility and all these things, because I feel it really shapes you. It every single day coming in and doing those things over and over, just you get in that mindset where like, okay, I have to do this, and then it develops those qualities that I am pushing forward with, not giving up and trying your best. And I feel like a lot with me too, that's just how I am as far as the way I teach is just. We're always going to resort to how we've been trained and how we've learned, because it's worked for us. And you want to see, these students, excel and succeed in the same way that we have, just pursuing higher education, giving back to the community, which is like the most satisfying thing that I've done here so far. So.
5, 6, 7, 8, step, pull. Oh, try to do it again. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8, step, pull. Don't fidget, do it again. So, listen up. The reason why there's fidgeting after is because we're not getting low enough. We're still up and it's not stable, so we're moving around. I really want to be plant. Don't move after, yeah? That's all we're doing. 1, pull. Don't move. Everyone don't move. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, step, pull. Oh, no.
I think the hip hop soothes them.
Cause since like some kids are boys and like don't want to do ballet or something, they want to do like more things that they want to do.
Yeah, like street stuff. Like
Street dance.
Yeah,
Street
like
dance.
the other time we were in a group, and there were 2 boys in my group, and me and another girl said that we were gonna do some moves, and then the boys said that they didn't want to do it because they looked too girly. But then when Kevin started coming, now that we're in the groups, and we still have 2 boys in the group, now they do the moves that we do, just they add a little bit more group, but they still do it because they say, well, we're all people, so we can all do the same thing.
I feel like I find myself more nervous stepping into the classroom than I do on stage. Like, we just recently had like a department performance, and there's like something different than being vulnerable and using your voice with like children. You would think like you shouldn't be embarrassed, but they're kids, I'm very nervous whenever I come in. I'm like, wow, I gotta be on my A game today. Like, because they can definitely catch if you're being fake with them, if you're not being super enthusiastic, because their energy is like 10 times what you have. You know what I mean? So I come in like my coffee and I'm just like, okay, we gotta do this. We're ready for an hour. I gotta match you guys.
And like after your class, don't you feel like your energy is like so affected by the classroom? It's
I feel
like if there's a good day, like the rest of your day is great. If there's a bad day, it's like
Classroom management is a huge struggle, but there's elements of that energy and that sort of happiness and that enthusiasm to be here. I mean, I had days where I'd go home from Emerson last session and I'd think like, oh God, it was just so difficult today. It was so hard to kind of get them on task or get them focused. But then I'd meet their parents, these students' parents, and I had one of them say, thank you so much. Like, my daughter is so happy when she comes back from art class. And I thought, okay, so I'm leaving and I'm tired, but you know what? It's fine because Misha goes home and she's happy.
Taking non-dancers that are 3rd graders, and then 4 weeks later, you just see them shine like by themselves, like in their own expressive movement. I think that was the cherry on top for me this week, so it was pretty cool.
Definitely. I think the thing that really is rewarding and satisfying is really the simple things for me. I think last week the students started coming up to me and started saying thank you, and it just started becoming a normal thing. They're like, thank you for honestly coming out to class, and that really speaks to me in a sense that like I feel like I'm making an impact on them, and they don't know it too, but they're also making an impact on me because they're helping me shape myself as an artist, and as a dancer, as a teacher. But I'm also trying to help them in a sense to find themselves and to really utilize dance as the vehicle of applying what we've learned in the classroom to life.
I've always been I have this like very passionate view that arts education should be core curriculum, that it should be just as important as math and as science and as English and like language arts and history. But for whatever reason in our country, in most places, it's treated as a privilege or an extra or a treat or an elective.
the students at like the schools that I'm teaching at, like all of them see the art lessons as a privilege. you know, and as a privilege. And the teachers like reinforce that, you know, they're like, you guys are lucky to have someone come in and teach you art for 2 hours a week for, you know, 8 weeks, and they're just like, for them to come after class and thank you, it's just like so, it's frustrating. It's like great that they thank you, but it's also like they shouldn't be thanking you.
Yeah, you should be used to it.
Yeah.
The question of perception, I think, just came to me whenever you tell somebody like, oh, I'm an art teacher, and what they perceive of that, rather than saying, oh, I'm a math teacher. So I think just that immediate judgment they have of like you as an art teacher, I think that's where I mean, like, how can we change that if people knew what we are capable of doing with a child's mind? And I think the people who have that power with the economy and how we can like fund the arts more, if they pushed the fact that what this can do with the people in these schools, I feel like it would be a curriculum that would be respected just as much as math and science and history.
We have to be so proactive, and we got to fight the stigma attached to artists. And it sucks because, like you said, you know, I live with two anthro majors and 2 pre-med majors. So, and then even I'm pretty sure discussing with your families too, just like this is what I'm gonna do. And it took a long time for my family to grow, but after they knew that I was super serious, it was like they finally came. You know, like we can definitely support that.
It's like our VAPA class is so special in that like we have the space where we can share everything, and we can be vulnerable, and we could you know, like we're going outside of the classroom, but the classroom is like a community that is so special, and there's like nothing else. Like this is like one like classroom like in how many in UCLA, and we're doing things that like are changing other people's lives.
In no way is sort of VAPA about me, you know, about the teaching artist. I think VAPA does a wonderful thing by appealing to college art students and saying, look, there's something more you can do with your arts education. You can be a teacher, you can give sort of your gift and your talent and your time to students. It's more about the students for me. A lot of times I feel a little bit like I'm a vehicle for the art to happen. Like I'm here so that these kids can have art, and I'm very happy with that role.
Well, it's probably the most disorganized class I've had.